Hey everybody, welcome back to PMS, the Perpetual Motion Squad, a Big Bang Theory fan podcast. And we are your hosts, Big Bang Theory super fans, Kat, and apparently Barney's butt. God,
I
you're
mean, there
so
are so many people that don't
inappropriate.
watch us on YouTube and are sitting there going, "What are they doing when
And you
we?"
know what? That's why I don't need to see Barney's butt.
They don't. Yeah, you just don't get a chance to see Barney's butt if you're not watching us on YouTube. But that's okay. We have got people time and time again coming back to the Spotify to listen to this crazy podcast that we do.
I
So
don't know why, but I'm glad you do.
now, before we get started, we have got something we want to tell and I'm sure everybody already knows,
We do?
but I, of course. Anybody who is a Big Bang Theory fan, a big
Oh,
congratulations to
to
Kaylee
Kaylee
Cuoco
Cuoco.
and her fiance Tom Feltry at the impending birth of their daughter that's
Second
arriving
daughter. And don't forget, congratulations to
to
Matilda for
Matilda.
being a big sister.
Big sister coming
That's a
up.
big deal.
That is. So yes, I love it. Kaylee actually put something up on her Instagram page and was like, I can finally wear this. And it says, I can't, I'm pregnant. So yeah, because
Well,
she hasn't she
I
hasn't had a
liked the
chance
picture
to.
from the sonogram that she put up where the new baby's giving them the finger.
And she says it is my daughter. Yeah.
Yep,
It's
yep.
yep. So yes, a big congratulations to Kaylee and her fiance Tom.
To her whole family.
Yeah, and to our whole family, and also a big congratulations to Matilda because you are now a big sister,
Soon to be a big sister.
soon
Yep.
to be a big sister. So
Yep, that's very exciting.
that's a really big thing. So
Yep.
yes, we have actually had a very busy week. Kat has been developing oops all over the place.
And
I have been
yeah. So on about that. So if
yeah.
you go to oopsaccident.com
Hmm.
and you're not in Australia at the moment, there is a button at the top of the page that says join the wait list.
Right.
So if you want to be among the first to know when it comes to your country, please join the wait list.
Yeah. And guarantee you, I know a lot of people are sitting there going, hang on a minute. I like listening to this podcast because you don't advertise. We are not advertising. What we are doing is simply saying that Cat has developed a brand new app that will eventually be worldwide. And if you want to be one of the first people in your country to get it, then
Yeah,
it's almost like someone has told you there's this thing coming out called Netflix, but you're not really sure whether you want to use it because you like going to Blockbuster. Well, that's fine and well
yeah.
and all good, but eventually, oops, like Netflix is going to take over the world, and you are going to be one of the first people to sit there and go, "Oh my God, I remember when they announced this on PMS podcast, and I
Okay.
got it."
So
So
basically, it's like when you find a great restaurant or a book or a movie and and you say to your friends, "Oh my God, I found this thing, you've got to try it."
yeah,
That's basically what we're doing.
yeah. So. Yes. So as I said, we're not actively we're not actively doing an ad for this. We're just saying this is what's happening. So yes, just follow what Kat is saying. Just do that. But we've had a very busy week. She's been doing apps. I've been getting injections in my, what are it, joint?
Yeah, Paul needs to have a hip replacement, but
Mm,
we can't do it until next year.
yeah.
So we got a cortisone shot in his hip to help relieve the pain. Even though the asshole technician was like, "Oh, you'll be lucky if you get 8 weeks out of it." I just wanted to bitch slap her, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And yes, I am going to raise a complaint with the place, and tell them that she should not be talking to patients. But
There are a lot of our younger listeners that are sitting there going, because I am okay, I may be 54, but in
okay,
my
I'll get to
mind,
finish your thought.
I'm sorry.
No, go for it. You already cut me off.
I'm sorry. I was going to say I may be 54, but I still feel like I'm in my teens, and nobody ever tells you when you're getting older that your body just has to break down on you. And for some reason, mine has.
Well, getting in and out of cars 30 times a day for 28 years, that might have something to do with it.
Yeah. So I hadn't.
Kind of like the dancer I knew, the male dancer I knew who ended up having to have a hip replacement at 35.
Well, that's very young for a hip
Yeah,
replacement.
it really is.
But then I look at the way the dancers are and the amount of stress they put on their bodies. I can understand why.
Yeah. Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
totally.
I guess I with dancers it would be like back, leg, and knee problems, wouldn't it?
Hmm. Oh, actually, before we get
Hmm.
into everything, I also want to take a moment to remember a true inspiration and legend that passed away this week. Jane Yolen, children's book author, mentor to many, friend to all, environmentalist, activist, proud parent, and just an incredible poet, incredible woman, so talented, passed away this week. She has written some of the most classic children's literature. My personal favorite was Briar Rose. That was the book I discovered her with. She and her daughter Heidi did ballet stories, which was the story behind a lot of the more popular ballets. Um, Owl Moon, I think, was one of her most recent ones, but she's written over 450 books, countless number of poems, and received more awards than you can count. The literature section of the world is just reeling this week. I had the privilege of knowing her and working with her on a couple of occasions, for which I will always be truly grateful. So I just want to say and remember Jane Yolen.
Okay. But on a happier note,
It's the Excelsior
it
Acquisition
is the
Season 3,
Excelsior.
Episode 16.
What did we think about this episode?
I love this episode.
This is, I look, I do like this episode. What I do find interesting is, I mean, do you really, Sheldon says it's a betrayal. Do you believe it's a betrayal as well?
Um, I think it was taking him for granted.
Yeah, me too.
I don't think it was essentially a betrayal. It was
But
it to okay, to a certain degree it was a betrayal of trust.
yeah,
Um, and I mean, and I get why she did it, but she should have given him a heads up. Or at least, if she
because,
wasn't going to ask permission, she should have at least told him it was coming.
yeah. Plus, also, the possibility of him doing a favor for Penny again is pretty remote.
Yeah.
And it
Yep.
also included, a fine and a criminal record, which
Yeah.
that's on your
That's not a
record.
small, well, the criminal record was his fault.
Well, no, because we'll get to why we think it was
No, no. Because he would have just paid the fine and been done with it, it would have been a couple of points on his
his
license.
license.
But the criminal record and the fact that he was thrown in jail was because he was so rude to the judge.
But he got out and apologized, which would have expunged that. I mean, the judge can't hold that over his head.
No, but the fact that he was held in contempt of court, that's now on his record.
Oh, I thought it
Yeah.
was like, well, I thought it was like if you apologize and it goes away.
If he had apologized before he got thrown into the jail cell, yes.
But once you're thrown in jail,
Yeah, pretty
it
much.
stays. Oh, I didn't realize that. That is something I didn't realize. I'm
Okay,
not being.
if I'm wrong, please tell us.
Yeah, yeah,
If
because
somebody knows the legal system better than I do, please. I mean, I just watch way too much Law and Order.
I just assumed that when he got the like okay, so like for you and I, right? So um I've had points on my license. It took me 3 years to clear them up, and
Mhm.
then it's gone. Right. So I thought with what Sheldon went through, um, yes, he was found in contempt of court and threw in jail. He had till 5 o'clock to apologize. Once he gets out of jail and says, "Listen, I am sorry. I didn't mean to, whatever," that's when the judge would have been like, "Okay, thank you very much. You apologize. That's fine." And then it would have got rid of that.
Not necessarily.
Yeah. Well,
That's not a given. I mean,
if
it
someone
could have
can,
happened, but
yeah.
it's not a given.
If someone can let us know, because that would be
Yeah.
really handy. Because I thought once you apologize, it's gone. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I'm not a legal person anyway, so.
Yeah.
So the
I'm the
episode,
one who watches all the Law and
yeah,
Order SVU.
which I get very worried about because she's got a way of disposing bodies and probably not getting caught.
That's really not funny.
Dun dun.
That's really not
I should have
funny.
one of those sounds between my
That
nipples.
Raj had one of those. Yeah. And I love how he cracked up Simon Helberg with that one.
I know.
I'm not
So
sure. I'm not sure he saw that one coming.
I know, I know. Um, Actually, funny enough, just a very quick side note. Simon Helberg was interviewed the other day about, he wasn't obviously he wasn't in the pilot of The Big Bang Theory, and the interviewer was saying, what did you think about the way they started The Big Bang Theory? And he's like, it was a very, very dark, dark. He said was very like the walls were very drab in the apartment, and he said, yeah, there they were playing off Sheldon as a sexual being,
Yeah.
and then you got
He was
Katie,
just creepy too.
yeah, and then you got Katie, who was this
A bitch.
really horrible person to the boys. And he said, if it had have gone, he said I would have been surprised if it went 2 seasons.
I mean,
You know,
having seen the unaired pilot,
yeah,
it wouldn't have lasted half a season
yeah.
because
Katie was
no
not
one was
nice.
likable.
No,
Because
no,
Leonard was a complete wimp, Sheldon was creepy, and Katie was a bitch.
yeah. And the other girl,
Gilda.
Gilda, Gilda was like she was the
She was
I
desperate.
don't know what. Yeah, because I mean, her and Sheldon slept with each other when they went to Comic-Con,
Yeah,
but it just didn't.
she was a bit more
Who
like
was
the
she?
current Leonard.
Oh yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
I can see that a little bit. So she was
but
a current Leonard.
yeah, that
Okay.
kind of desperate but smart, yet trying to stand up for herself but not.
Yeah.
And the fact that she got so possessive of Sheldon when Katie was around, and it
I
was
just wonder how they with Katie with being such a horrible person, did the writers actually say this is the way your character is going to be? Is that the way the
well,
actress portrayed it
even
as?
before that, when they were writing the script, I just want to say to them, what about this made you guys think this could actually go somewhere?
Yeah.
And with Katie living in the apartment, it's like, really, literally, where is this going to go?
Yeah, because that really didn't make a lot of sense because
No.
she gets thrown out of her apartment and then she meets the guys on the street. They take her for lunch and then all of a sudden, or dinner, and then all of a sudden she's like, oh, well, I'm going to move in with you guys.
Yeah, and basically, you just want to say to them, whichever drugs you guys are on, throw them out and get new drugs.
Yeah. I look in a different universe. That is the Big Bang Theory, the one that
Oh,
we
no,
know and love.
you know what that is?
But
Theorists in
oh my God, we
wherever that
saw
was.
that. We saw that it's in Germany.
No, it,
Theorists. No, it was in another. Was it in Swedish?
no.
But we saw the ripoff. It's only one episode. You can watch it. It's called The Theorists. Um, and we actually looked and found it on YouTube, and it is
Belarus.
Belarus.
Yeah,
Thank you. And it is really bad. Like it is
yeah. I kept wanting
disgustingly
to say
bad,
Bahrain, and I knew that wasn't right.
and it is such a ripoff of The
It
Big Bang
it's
Theory.
not just a ripoff, it's a terrible ripoff.
Yeah,
It's just, I mean, okay, maybe their humor is different than ours. I don't
yeah.
know. But there was just, after about 15 minutes, I had to tell Paul to turn it off because I just couldn't take it anymore. It was awful,
Yeah, I mean, we had to read obviously the subtitles,
which was
but
fine. I don't
but to
mind.
watch it, I
I don't
mean,
mind that, but it just wasn't funny.
yeah, I mean, I watched it all the way through to 25 minutes, and it just didn't get any better. So, if you want to watch it, it's only one episode it's called The Theorists. Go and find it on YouTube.
Yep.
It's not good.
No, it's really not.
So the episode opens up where we've got Raj walking into the comic book store, and he has turned his t-shirt into a speaker, and he presses the button for the entrance of Darth Vader.
Dun dun dun
Dun
dun
dun
dun
dun dun
dun
dun,
dun dun
and
dun dun.
and and as he says, he wants to be,
I'm
be
giving myself dramatic entrance music.
to be foreboding, and it's like, yeah, and
And
I like it,
so they will know that I am both awesome and to be
and
feared.
yeah, and then of course how it goes. There's nothing more fearsome than having music playing between your nipples.
I'd wear one of those shirts.
I would wear that one of those
I
too.
would.
And he's got different sound effects for everything. And this is where we find out that Stan Lee is going to, well, actually, Stuart actually says to the boys that Stan Lee is going to be doing a comic book signing on Thursday.
Yep.
And like everybody's very excited about this. And I like it how Sheldon goes about, did he do a follow-up to his autobiography? Because I'm sure the ages from 76 to 83 or 76 to 87,
79 to
87
87.
was just action packed. And it's like, no, no, no. What it basically is that, and he goes, no, it's just a regular comic book signing. My uncle, which is Stuart's uncle, is Stan Lee's dermatologist, and actually asked Stan to do him a favor. And of course, this is where Sheldon comes back with, well, I don't want to know if he's got any things on his face because whether
Well,
I'm
I
talking
don't
to
want
him.
to sit there trying to ask him about this, that, and the other while I'm scanning his face looking for contagious skin issues.
And it's like, and of course, look at how Leonard goes, Stan Lee doesn't have contagious skin issues, so
He said, "Oh, well, look who thinks he's Stuart's uncle."
so then we go back to the apartment, and this is where the boys are discussing what comic book they want Stan Lee to sign. Now, we've got Leonard trying to figure out which one he wants, and Raj is trying to figure out which one he wants. Sheldon comes up with a very unique idea.
Okay.
Shel
Sheldon, before he learns he has to go to traffic court,
Yep.
he wants to get a comic book signed by Stan Lee, and they've got the boxes and boxes of comic
Yeah.
books out going through them, trying to pick which one.
Yeah.
He announces his plan for Stan Lee to sign a Batman comic, even though Stan Lee had nothing to do with Batman, stating that he will then have a unique, albeit confusing, artifact. And Raj announces his intention to do the same thing, which de-uniques Sheldon's intended artifact.
Yeah. Because he does say, what part of unique
Do you not
did you not
understand?
understand? Um, Now, the fact is that, and I was thinking about this to myself, okay? I don't think anybody that is not involved in a comic book. Okay, so if they did turn up with a Batman to
Yep.
Stan Lee, Stan Lee's not going to sign it.
Yeah, he is.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he
That's
is.
DC.
It
He's
it
Marvel.
doesn't matter. You sign what you're asked to sign.
Try saying that to Jack Nicholson. I remember there was an incident on Hollywood Boulevard. It was around the time where Heath Ledger became the Joker, right? So there's a group of people standing there. Jack Nicholson gets out of his car, and immediately people start putting stuff in front of Jack to sign. He's going through, and it was actually on YouTube. He's going along, he's signing, and this idiot puts a picture of Heath Ledger as the Joker in front of Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicholson gives this guy the look of like, if I could swallow you into the world, I would. And basically said, I am not signing that.
Okay, that I could
Flatly refuses.
understand. That I could
So
understand, but
I believe
um
that Stanley would have sat there and gone, I have not had anything to do with DC. I'm not.
I think that he would though.
I wonder if there's a
And the way
contractual
that he
obligation to it.
signed it is what I could imagine happening.
But I wonder if there is a contractual obligation to not do that.
I don't know.
I mean, yes, it's very
I doubt
confusing.
it. I
It's a
doubt
very,
it.
it's a very, very confusing thing to have happen, but I don't know. We'll go with it and see. I mean, I would think it would just be, yes, it is a very unique and befuddling thing to do, but no. So this is where we see that Penny comes into the apartment, and Leonard is very excited, and he actually says that there is a big thing that's going on at the comic book store.
No.
No? Oh, Howard gets
But
a paper cut
paper
first.
cut.
That's right. So he says, well, Sheldon goes, well, there's some Neosporin bandages in my top drawer. And he says, well, why don't you just keep them in the bathroom? And Leonard goes,
Leonard's
he's
like,
got them in
"Oh,
the
he does,
bathroom
and in the kitchen,
and
and
in
in
the
his
car.
bag, and in his pocket."
Yeah,
But the ones in my pocket are only for me.
of mine. And this is where I don't like how when Howard says, paper cut, it's the worst cut of all. And like how Raj goes, well, then clearly you didn't remember your circumcision. And this is
True,
where
good point.
That is a good point. This is where we find that Howard finds some unopened paychecks. And he's like, Sheldon, why do you have all these paychecks? He says, because the things that I want to buy haven't been invented yet. And he says, why don't you just put them in the bank? And he goes, well, no, I don't trust banks because I believe that when there's the uprising in the machines, the ATMs are going to
Tim's will
lead the
lead the charge.
charge.
Now, I would like to point out that Sheldon is 100% wrong on this count
Yes.
because if you do not cash a check within, it depends on the bank, but it's usually somewhere between 90 days and 6 months. If you don't cash a check, it becomes invalid and you lose the money.
Oh, yeah, because it'd bounce back to the employer, wouldn't it?
Or whoever gave it to you.
Yeah.
It's both private and corporate checks. So if you don't cash them within a certain period, you've lost all that money.
Yeah.
So Sheldon has lost thousands of dollars
Thousand
from them
dollars.
just
Yeah.
sitting there.
Whoops.
Yep.
Along with the fact that now this is where when he's saying there's thousands of dollars, Penny comes into the apartment.
Hmm.
And Leonard says the fact that, and this is one of the best lines of the show today. So he says to Penny, there's a big thing happening at the comic book store on Thursday. And she's like, oh, can you give me a hint? And he
And he's
goes,
like,
yeah.
well, guess who's coming to the comic book store on Thursday?
And she says, well, can you give me a hint? And he goes, Stan Lee. And she goes,
Stanley,
Stanley
Lee,
Tucci?
Tucci.
And he goes, no, 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 Stan Lee. And she goes, oh, cool. And he goes, you don't know who Stanley is? And she goes, of course I do. You are a very important part of my life, and I
And I
am
pay attention to
attention to
what you're
what you like.
interested in.
And he goes, cool. Then who's Stanley? And she goes, he was on Star Trek. No.
Nope. Star
Star
Wars?
Wars? No.
In
Um,
those kung fu movies, those
yeah.
that you like.
No, that's Bruce Lee. Oh, you know,
Bruce Lee's nerdy
nerdy
brother
cousin,
Stanley.
nerdy cousin Stan. And it's like, no. But no, we
But
find,
if she had bothered to look around, she would have seen those
yeah,
boxes of comic books,
that's what you
and that
said.
should have given her a hint as to who Stan Lee was.
Yeah, exactly. But Penny's not
Yes, all
that.
right.
Yeah. And then while this is all going on, Howard discovers that within all the paychecks that Sheldon is not catching, there is a summons to go to court. Now,
Now we're lucky he didn't miss that.
yeah. Now, apparently, as Sheldon has said, he has sent a number of letters to the Pasadena Municipal
Council
Council to say that the flags flying in the are in the
in
wrong
front of
order.
the building are in the
Are in the
wrong
wrong order.
order.
But you said they're in the right
Well,
order
well,
if you
hold
look.
on,
Yeah.
because he's like, it should go from left to right, the American flag, the state flag, the flag of Pasadena, and I think there
Yeah.
was another one. And he's like,
Federal, state. That's right. It should have been federal, state, and then the city of
yeah,
Pasadena.
exactly. But if you're standing at the building looking out, they're in the right order.
They are. So you can't go from right to left.
Yeah,
It's always looking at a building, it's left to
left to
right,
right.
which is actually in the right
Yeah.
order.
Well, if you're but if he has them backwards, then just go on the other side of the flagpole.
Oh, no, I know what he's saying. Okay. If he's looking directly at the building, he's
Yeah.
saying it should be state, federal, then the city of Pasadena.
No, federal, state, then city
Fed-
of Pasadena.
yeah. So basically what he's saying is it should be from where he's looking, it should be going from left to right. He's
Yeah.
looking at from right to left,
Yeah.
which is in the wrong order.
But if you stand on the other side in front of the building, they're correct.
They are correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I like it how Penny says you've written more than one letter about that. It bothers me.
Yeah.
But it is not a letter about that. It
Nope.
is a summons for him to go to court because apparently he was caught on a red light traffic camera.
Because on November
Mm.
16th, he
Yes.
ran a red light in
Yes.
Penny's car. Now, I'd like to point out that the traffic summons that Sheldon receives shows that he was photographed on November 16th driving Penny to the hospital.
It was.
That episode was the adhesive duct deficiency,
Yes.
and did you know was first aired on November 16th, 2009.
This is why I love this show.
Yeah.
They've got the timeline so perfect.
Yeah.
It all lines up
Yep.
with how he would get this traffic summons. And I like it how he goes, and I like it how he goes, oh, you've got, and they've even got a picture of you, nice photo, and he goes, Penny, that was the night that you slept in your bathtub and I was taking you to hospital, and she's like,
No, it
no, it
wasn't.
wasn't, And he goes, yeah, it was this
I'm
date.
thinking she didn't tell Leonard about this.
Hmm.
But then
And
again, she would have had to explain the dislocated shoulder
no, she
because
would
he
have
would have
told Leonard.
seen her while it was still on
And I
the
and I and
swing.
I believe that Sheldon would have told Leonard as well.
Yeah, probably.
And he goes, it was on this date. No, it wasn't. You know, Penny, I have an eidetic memory. I know exactly what's going on, and this is what happened. And she goes, no, it wasn't. And I like it how she says, well, I couldn't afford any more points on my license. Plus, I've got to go and buy my insurance from a place in the Cayman Islands. And he says, well, hang on, so you betrayed me. And she goes, no, it wasn't a betrayal. It was a heroic act. And now you have a photographic evidence for that important day. And he goes, well, I'm not going to go and pay the ticket. He says, well, why is it that I'm in your car and it's got your license plate, it's your car. And he says, well, you have betrayed me. And I believe that is true. Penny should, I understand, I do understand that Penny she can't afford any, I mean, she's really not the best driver in the world.
No.
And she is having to buy her insurance from the Cayman Islands. But this is something she couldn't drive herself to hospital. Sheldon, if you remember, even said, "Why don't we call an ambulance?" And she's like, "No, no, no, no. They wouldn't get there in time. They're an ambulance. They're going to speed through the city to get to you." So there's Sheldon doing something really, I mean, with the amount of time that it took for Sheldon to get her out of the bathtub, get
Yep.
her dry, get her into her top, unfortunately feeling her breast at the same time, matching up the clothes to take her to the emergency room, she would have got there in an ambulance.
Yeah.
So, I
Yeah.
mean, he's doing something
But it would
really
have
nice.
taken a while for the ambulance to get there.
Well, by the time that he did all the things that I just explained, the ambulance would have been there. But he was doing something really nice because he was there I mean, luckily enough, he was at home that night. But to get her there with everything that he did, okay, and along with all that, he gets down to the car with Penny. He sits in the driver's seat, and then he spends time trying to get the seat right, trying to get the rear view mirror right, trying to do the seat forward and stuff like that, and trying to. By the time he actually goes, it's like the ambulance would have been there, picked up Penny, and would have gone. You
Yeah.
even said, "What about a cab? What about an Uber?" There were
Yeah.
so
Well,
many
they
things
didn't
that you
have
could have done.
Ubers back then, I
Okay,
don't
so what
think.
about a cab? A cab would have got
Yeah.
there. So,
Yeah.
you know,
I mean,
um,
depending though, it could take, sometimes it can take a while for a cab to show up.
yeah, I know. But once again, this is something that Sheldon was trying to do. He was trying to be nice for Penny to
Yeah.
get her
He's like,
there.
you were in distress. I was rescuing you.
Yeah, and now you've got a photograph of that heroic day. And
Yeah.
this is where Sheldon, he actually believes he's not guilty because, as he says, I was the driver. I understand, but I've got a learner's permit. You were the actual licensed driver. I was given bad information. I mean, the thing is, okay, he was driving at one stage, he was driving like 25 miles an hour down the road.
Yeah.
And even Penny goes, "Come on, warp speed, Mr. Spock." And he's like that. Mr. Spock does not drive the
Mm-mm.
Enterprise. It's Chekhov that
Yeah. Mr.
no,
Sulu's the
Mr. Sulu.
navigator.
Sorry,
Chekhov
yeah,
is the pilot.
yeah. So but
But it's interesting that that it's always warp speed ahead, Mr.
Mr.
Sulu.
Spock, Mr. Sulu, yeah.
Yeah.
But as I said, Sheldon believes he's not guilty. I mean, and
Or
I don't
is
know.
okay.
I mean, the thing is that going through a red light camera. I mean, he's driving at 25 miles an hour, everybody. I mean, that would have to be that he would be his front tire and the fact that the red light was going. I mean, you've got to cross over as the light goes red.
Yeah. You've got it.
So
Okay. To not have it count as running a red light, you have to be at least halfway through the intersection before it turns red.
yeah,
So if
so
they're halfway there and it's yellow, but
it
less
would
than
be
halfway
okay.
there, no, but if they're less than halfway there when it turns from yellow to red, it's running a red light.
They must be very sensitive because the way to get a red light camera to snap you is you'd have to basically be entering your wheels would
Ah,
have
I was wrong.
what?
Sulu is the pilot, Chekhov is the navigator.
Right. Okay.
So warp speed Mr. Sulu is
Is
correct because he's the
correct.
pilot.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this is where Sheldon says, "Well, I'm not going to go and pay the fine. I'm going to start preparing my defense." And this is where Leonard gets a whisper in his ear from Raj, and and Leonard goes, "Oh, that's right. Thursday is Stan Lee Day." And like how Sheldon goes, "Now see what you've done, Penny? Because of you, everybody is going to not be able to meet Stan Lee." And like Leonard's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa!
What do you mean,
What do you mean,
all of us?
all of us?" And he goes, "Well, you're my friends. You're going to be there supporting me and
And standing by me as I make my case, and assuming you have the upper body strength, carrying me
carrying me
out on
out."
your shoulders after I win my case.
Yeah, and like how Leonard goes, yeah,
No.
no," and he goes, "Oh."
Howard,
Howard, and he goes, "Ooh, meeting Stan Lee or you in traffic court.
if this was Sophie's choice, it would have been a much shorter movie.
Yeah,"
No.
and he goes, "No," and he goes, "Raj," and Raj has got now. Raj still got
Still
the
wearing
shirt.
that speaker shirt.
Yeah, and he presses the button and goes,
And so Sheldon says to Penny, well, then you're going to have to accompany me to court. And she says, oh, balls. This is the first time she says this.
"Oh, I love that one.
Now, in the gag reels for the show, the cast regularly says, oh, balls, when they mess up their lines from this point forward.
I like that one."
Yep.
Now, the following day, Sheldon has taken the liberty of scripting Penny's statement because he describes her as a bit of a loose cannon.
Yeah. Now, I'd like to point out that a self-represented litigant can prepare a script or outline one for their witnesses, but the witness cannot read from it on the stand, and a script cannot be used to tell the witness what to say. The key
Right.
distinction is between preparation, which is allowed, and coaching or manufacturing testimony, which is not allowed, and Sheldon would have known that. Now, I can see him not caring, but I
Do you
don't
have
see
any?
him going against the law like that.
I wish I actually had the script that he actually had written for Penny, but I don't have it.
No. Excuse me. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
I'm trying to see. No, I'm actually looking forward to see. I've got the script of when they go to Stanley's house.
No, hang on.
Yeah, I was actually hoping that they'd actually keep that it would have actually had the script of what he'd written for Penny. That would have been really good because it was actually really quite funny the way that he had actually written it out for Penny. Uh, her, her corn-fed Nebraskan turn
Turn
of
of
phrase.
phrase.
Did you have any goofs of this episode? Because there is a goof that I actually didn't see,
Uh,
like factual errors.
Not that I really.
Oh, can I do these two
Yeah, go
just
for it.
quickly? So there's two factual errors in this. Um, the factual error is one of them is Penny says she didn't want any more points on her license. One condition of setting up red light cameras is that they are not permitted to use access points.
What does that mean?
The violator simply pays the fine. I don't understand that one. Um,
Okay, hold on. Your
oh,
video's
my
going
camera's going
crazy.
friggin' whoopee.
Yeah,
Hang on a
turn it
minute.
off for a second.
Oh, dear. I'll turn my camera video off. Video back on. Nope, still having a shit fit.
All right, leave it off for a few seconds. Make
Okay.
sure the plug didn't get jostled.
Yeah, no, I was
It was
just looking
plugged
at
in
that.
properly.
Yeah, just seeing what was going on with that. There
Hmm.
we go. Must have been jostled.
Now your handsome face is back. And no, I
Thank
don't
you.
have that.
Um, Now there's the other factual error. Just watch my camera if it starts going whoopee again.
Mhm.
Penny is shown to have identified Sheldon as the person driving the car when it ran a red light on the camera. In California, photos are taken of the driver. If the driver cannot be identified, the owner is sent a ticket, also known as a snitch ticket, that can be ignored.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. You're
I know. I think I saw the camera starting to go whoopee again.
unplug it and plug it
Yeah.
back in
Yeah.
again.
Yep, I don't know what's going on with this camera today.
I don't know, but I was texted at 4 o'clock this morning by one of my clients who was having issues with her computer and wanted to know what to do about it. And I'm like, well, it's telling you to shut down. So hold and press the power button, shut
Oh,
down,
shut it
wait a couple of
down.
minutes, turn it back on. And then she's like, yeah, that worked. I said, okay, I would still take it to the Geek Squad to get it checked out and make sure that
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong,
yeah.
just to be on the safe side and
I
make
think
sure that you
my
get backed up.
think my camera was touching something that it shouldn't be.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, so I that was just a couple of factual errors. As I said, I don't have the quote of what Sheldon had actually written for Penny, but it was actually quite
Oh.
amusing the way that he scripted to it's
And
so
a
much so
tear rolls down
down
my
to my eye,
face.
down my cheek, and he goes, "Well, it's okay. A catch in your throat is just as good." Because she goes, "It is a pleasure to know you." I tear it, and he goes, "Okay," and she reads it again. But it is a pleasure to know you. Totally.
Totally.
And look at how he goes. Because he said to her about the fact that he didn't want her to wear like her juicy pants. And he says to her, maybe you could put on your juicy pants again. So now we're at the court
Okay.
and Sheldon is about to make his defense.
Now, Sheldon, as you know, missed out meeting and Stanley at a comic book signing because he has to be in traffic court. The nameplate on the bench shows the judge's name is Judge J. Kirby.
Yes.
Jack Kirby was a comic book artist who often worked alongside Stan Lee and helped to create some of Marvel
Of course
Comics'
he
most
was.
popular titles.
Damn, I was wondering why when I watched this episode, why does that name look familiar? Now I know.
Yep.
Yeah, it just shows you just how. Uh, One of the quotes that I actually do have on this episode is actually quite a good one with the judge. Let me go and see. Uh
Oh, the questionable breakfast burrito and just took an Imodium, so make it quick.
yeah. Now which one am I looking for? Um oh, I had it.
What was it
Oh,
about?
yes, here we go. Sheldon comes in and says, if it would please the court, I'd like to begin with an opening statement. And Judge Kirby says, the court would advise you to make it quick, as the court has had a dicey-looking breakfast burrito this morning and just took an Imodium. And of course, Sheldon goes, very well. A quick opening statement. Like a milking stool, my case rests on three legs. I would demonstrate that I was improperly instructed in driving by a woman whose lack of respect for society borders on the sociopathic. I will argue that the emergency met the legal doctrine of, quote, est necessarium est licitum. That is, which is necessary is legal. But first, I will raise the Sixth Amendment issue. I'm unable to confront my accuser, a non-human entity, to wit, a camera. So in my summary, improper instruction, quoque est necessarium, Sixth Amendment, my milk stool is complete.
Now, I would like to point out that the constitutional issue that Sheldon raises there
Yeah,
has actually been used to successfully overturn red light camera laws in many states.
really, because you
Yep.
can't speak to your accuser.
Yeah.
Okay. And I like it how the judge goes, impressive. And Sheldon goes, thank you. And he goes, guilty.
Guilty.
Pay the cashier.
Yep. Mm.
And this is where things sort of like go very, very wrong with what's going on because and in Sheldon's way that he always does, right? Instead of just going, okay, I've lost, I'm pay the fine. No, 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 no. That's not the way it's going to work at all. Sheldon basically says, well, at the court, Sheldon makes his defense, but is ignored by the judge and is told to pay the cashier. Sheldon
And he's like,
objects.
"You're ignoring the law." He's like, "No, I'm
No,
following the law. I'm
I'm ignoring
ignoring
you.
you."
And goes, like it how Sheldon says, it's an interesting that I'm at the top of my profession where you are residing at the kiddie table of yours. And he goes,
And the
Dr.
judge is
Cooper,
like, before I
find you in
throw
contempt.
attempt, I'm going to give you the opportunity to apologize." And Sheldon's like, "Well, I'm a scientist. I
I
never
never
apologize for the
apologize.
truth." And then the next thing you see is Sheldon being locked behind bars.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love how he turns to this very, 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 very large man
Yeah.
who's sitting there and says, "You're in my spot." That's my
Yeah.
spot.
Now I like it how at one stage, when they were actually saying that they shouldn't have to go to court, when he was going to prepare his thing, Howard says, he's going to end up in jail, right? So the
Yeah.
next scene we see is the guys are all lining up out the front of the comic book store, getting ready to meet Stan Lee.
Okay, now hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, couple of things here. When earlier in the episode, when the guys are trying to pick out what comic books to sign, Raj says that he wants to ask Stan Lee about his alliteration in character names, and Howard tells him not to because it's going to annoy Stan Lee.
Yes, I will. Yeah.
Raj gives Minnie the Model as one example of many of
Hmm.
Stan Lee characters with alliterative names. The character's actual name is Minnie Collins. In addition, Stan Lee is credited with as a writer of Minnie the Model, but Ruth Atkinson is the credited creator.
Okay.
So it's no wonder that it would actually annoy him, as Stan Lee has stated that this quirk is because he has a bad memory and it made it easier to remember. And surely a fanboy like Raj would know that. Then later, when they're standing in line, Raj starts going on about it again, and Howard says, "That's it. I'm cutting in front of you because I'm not going to ask Stanley to sign something after you annoy him."
Yeah.
And if you look at what Raj is holding while he's standing in line, you can see he plans to follow through with stealing Sheldon's idea as he is holding a Batman comic.
Oh, he is. Okay, I
Yes.
didn't see that one.
Yep.
Oh. So they're all lining up ready to see Stanley, and Leonard's phone rings, and it happens to be the ringtone of Spider-Man, the
Da da
Spider-Man
da
theme.
da da
Da da
da.
da 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 da.
Man, I tell you though, I hear that now, and all I can hear is Homer Simpson singing Spider Pig.
Spider Pig does whatever a Spider Pig does. Um,
I've been hanging out with you too long.
yeah, no, I'm sorry.
I'm not.
Um, it's
Mildly annoyed at times, but I'm not
it's
sorry.
it's just gonna get worse as we get older.
Yeah, it will. But you know
Um,
what? I can work with that.
okay. So Penny rings. He answers the phone. He goes, "Oh, hey, Penny." He goes, Sheldon's in jail. And he goes, "What? Sheldon's in jail?" And Raj goes, "No,
And,
you
and,
called
and
it.
Raj looks at Howard, and Howard goes, "Called it."
Got it." And he says, and she says, apparently he's got till 5 o'clock to apologize, or he's
Apologize.
going to spend the weekend in jail. And he goes, "Oh, that's the
No, the
line's
night in
moving."
jail
Night,
because
night, no
tomorrow's
jail.
Friday.
Yeah. He goes, "Oh, that's a shame. Oh, the line's moving. Got to go by." And they go inside. So this is where Sheldon is sitting on his supposed spot in the jail, and he calls out to the jailer, and he says, "I need to use the restroom." And he goes, "Well, knock yourself out."
And
And
he
he
points
goes,
to the
and puts
open
it,
toilet.
yeah, and he goes, "That's the toilet." And he goes, "Well, Anna wishing well." And he goes, "Can you please tell the judge that I'm ready to apologize?"
Yeah.
So
And I have to admit, I don't blame him. I wouldn't
yeah,
want to go to the toilet on something everybody's been using in front of everybody
uh
else. Yeah,
no.
no.
So the next scene we see is the boys have come back from the comic book store signing, and Leonard's sitting there going, "Look at that." To my friend Leonard from Stan Lee, Excelsior. And Howard goes,
Howard.
"Oh, mine says to Howard from your friend Stan Lee, Excelsior." And Raj goes, "Mine says to Raj from Stan Lee."
And now
That's
Raj,
because you pissed him off about your names.
yep. And Raj is holding what the viewer is led to believe is the
The
comic that Lee
Batman.
signed.
Yep.
And I can understand why he signed it that way because A, he pissed off Stan Lee
Yep.
and asking about the names, but also because it's a Batman comic.
Yeah.
And the
Thank
comic
you.
is indeed Batman. So since Sheldon could not follow through with his plan, Raj now possesses a unique, albeit confusing artifact.
Yes, he does. So, Penny brings poor old
Sheldon.
Sheldon home. And they're like, "Ah, hey, buddy, how you doing?" And he's like, yeah, the only reason that he basically apologized because he didn't want to go to the toilet
Yep.
in using a metal bowl, for it. And of course, it was like, yeah, well, it's more upsetting that you would have to spend the weekend or the day in jail with the outfit that you're wearing on because he has got one of the worst suits that you can see.
Yeah, it's a checkerboard suit. Okay, it's a lovely blue color
Yeah,
with very small white pinstripes, but rather than pinstripes, it's like squares.
It's everything everywhere.
Then he has a light blue with white striped shirt and then this geometric tie. And it's like he is just one giant clash.
Yeah, it is all over the place.
He does not know how to dress himself.
Yeah. Um, and obviously Sheldon is very depressed about missing the chance with Stan Lee. We also find out that the boys actually got a chance to, after the signing, Stan Lee took them
It
and
took Stuart
Stuart
and them
out for
for
gelato.
gelato.
And also Howard and the boys got to just call Stanley
Stan.
Stan. And then this is where we also find out that poor old Sheldon has now got a 500 and I think it's a
33.
$533 fine, 3 points on a license that that he doesn't
Not yet
have
to, doesn't have yet.
and has a criminal record. And he did not have a chance to have gelato with Stan Lee. And as Penny says, I'm going to reimburse you with that money. I'm going to write you a check for that money
And he stops her and
as
he
long as you put
says,
it in your top drawer and never catch it
with those other checks.
with the other checks.
And he says, the writing finger, once it has writ, then moves on.
Yeah. And he's very, very upset at this stage. And he goes into
Oh,
his
yeah.
bedroom and she goes, "Did he just give me the finger?" And Howard goes, "It wasn't the finger, it was the moving finger."
That was funny.
So this is where we see that
Oh,
Penny,
oh, oh, we missed it.
but
At one point in the previous scene, about him going to court, Raj did the dun dun
oh, the
from
dun
Law and
dun, that's right,
Order
for the Law and Order.
and totally cracked up Simon Helberg.
Yeah, so much so that he went, "I like that one."
Yeah, and Raj is like, yeah,
Yeah, Rose, like, yeah, that was awesome.
yeah, just with that big smile that Raj has.
Oh, and one of the best ones we actually also forgot is when Leonard is sitting there and he's trying to figure out which book that he wants Stanley to sign.
Hmm.
Raj presses the button and it has the
Mm,
Jeopardy song, the Jeopardy dun
yeah,
dun
and
dun
what did he
dun.
come back with? That you're a what?
Dumbass.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with you're a dumbass. I thought that was pretty good.
And then he presses, and then of course, then Raj presses the button and goes,
Yeah.
yeah. There's a lot of great
But
sound
I
effects in
loved
this
it when
episode.
he did the dun dun and Simon Helberg just lost
Yeah,
it.
I like that one.
I don't think that one was
That was,
planned.
yeah, I think that was a little one
I think the
they
reaction on
snuck
Simon
in.
Helberg's part, I think he thought the cameras weren't rolling and that that was not in the script and they kept it
Yeah,
in anyway
yeah,
because it was good.
that was a nice little goof, that one.
Yeah.
So this is where we see that Penny, and look, there are so many things that Penny has done wrong in this episode, but this is one that she does, I think, is really nice. She goes over to the comic book store. Now, this is something you said. Why did they do this? And I want you to talk about this. She goes to the comic book store. Now, Stanley has
Ah,
taken
yeah.
the
Okay.
boys.
Okay, you can tell that it's the same night because Penny's in the same clothes.
Yeah, hasn't changed. She's
Hasn't
gone straight
changed.
from the
So she went
boys'
from the boys'
apartment.
apartment to the comic book store.
Yeah.
We had the big signing.
Mm-hmm.
Stanley, they all went out to like dinner, gelato, whatever.
Yep.
Why is he reopened the comic book store?
Yeah. Why's Stuart gone back?
Yeah, why is he gone back? He would have been done for the night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He could have closed it up and gone, okay, that was the
Because he would have said after the Stan Lee thing, nobody's coming back.
no. And so, and even Stuart says, because Penny goes over there and says that, you know,
Yeah.
I'm the fault. I'm the reason that Sheldon didn't get a chance to meet Stan Lee. I was
Now,
wondering if you got his telephone number that I can call him and sort of like set up a possibility of them getting together.
this is also when Stewart starts to become pathetic
Yeah, you mentioned that.
because his big plan for the night was to go home and have dinner and wait and see if the stray cat shows up.
Yeah, that he can share a can of tuna.
Tuna.
And he goes, "It's not even my cat, it's a stray, and
And
sometimes it doesn't even show
show up.
up."
Yeah, so my big plan for the night is to go home and hope not to get stood up by a stray cat.
Exactly. So she says, "Well, is there any chance you got his phone, Stanley's phone number, so I can sort of arrange a meeting?" And he goes, "Well, I don't have his phone number." And she goes, "Oh, okay." And she goes to walk away, and he goes, "Wait,
Wait.
I have his address." And she goes, "Okay, but I can't give it to you." She says to him, "Why did you get me to wait?" And he says, "Well, I don't know, just chatting, sort of thing." And he says, "I can give you his address, but
I need
if
something
you."
in return.
Yeah, and she goes, "What?" And he goes, "That you go to my cousin's wedding you come with me to my cousin's
And
wedding.
she's like, "You're trying to extort a date out of me for Stanley's address." And he's
And
like, "Well, the cousin getting married is the one I usually go to weddings with."
yeah. So
And
she
she's
goes,
like, "Can I bring Leonard?" And he's like, "Okay, we'll just tell
sure.
everybody he's your cousin."
Yeah.
And yeah,
Stuart. I've got something to talk about at the end of this podcast about the new show that's come out.
okay.
Um, so this is where Penny. Now you said, and I want you to talk about this as well about Penny taking Sheldon to Stanley's house.
Okay, she knows what Sheldon is like.
Yeah,
I think, and it is incredibly rude to just show up unannounced at someone's house, especially someone you don't know.
yeah.
And I'm actually kind of surprised he doesn't have some kind of gate and security access.
I would say he did.
But let's not poke at
Yeah,
that bear.
no,
Um, I'm surprised, honestly, that she didn't show up there first and just say, "Look, here's the situation. I know it's a big ask," or at least left Sheldon in the car until she
I
got it.
wouldn't have even taken him.
But yeah, I wouldn't have even told him it was a
No,
possibility because then he would know where Stanley lives.
yeah.
Um, Stanley Tucci.
Danny Tucci,
And
nerdy cousin Stan.
and maybe gone out and gotten permission.
Yeah. I would have done exactly that. I would have not even told because Stuart's not going to go and tell the boys.
No.
Penny would have said, "I will go to the wedding with you. You keep your mouth shut about this. I need to do this to
Yeah.
see if he's going to allow Sheldon to
It,
come and see
yeah,
him."
if he would be willing to
So
meet him.
Penny would go over, speak to Stan, and say, "Listen, this is what happened.
Or at
Would
the
you be
very least,
willing
bring a comic book or something
to
and say,
sign?"
if you're not willing to see him, could you at least sign it for him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she takes Sheldon with her to Stanley's house. And of course, Sheldon's like, "We were on Stanley's driveway. We're at Stanley's front walk." And she presses, and she says, and he goes, "Now we're going to go in and have milk and cookies with Stanley." And she goes, "Well, I didn't say we're going to have milk and cookies. He might just say hello, whatever." And she presses the doorbell, and he goes, "Oh, you just pressed Stanley's doorbell." And this is where the door is open up, and there is Stanley.
Wearing a Fantastic Four bathrobe.
Yes. And he says, Penny says, "Oh, hi, I'm Penny. This is Sheldon. He was supposed to meet you at the comic book store, but he ended up in jail, sort of thing." And he goes, "Oh, so you just thought it would be okay to just come over to my house and ring my doorbell, and why don't you guys just come on in and watch the Lakers game with me?"
And I
And
love how Sheldon's like, "I'm really not much of a sports fan, but okay," and just walks in.
oh, and
And Penny's like, "I'm sorry, he
he
doesn't
doesn't
really
understand
understand sarcasm."
sarcasm. And he goes, "Well, I've got something he'll know. Joni, call the police." And this is where she goes, "Nice to meet you," and just runs
Runs
off,
away. Yeah,
runs
nice
away.
friend.
Yeah. So this is where we see that Sheldon has come back to the apartment, and of course Sheldon says, "Well, you guys might have had um uh, gelato with Stan Lee,
Yep.
but I have got a signed restraining
Okay,
order."
I tell you where I've been. You boys may have had gelato with Stanley and gotten autographed comics, but I saw the inside of his house and got an autographed application for a restraining order. Plus, I get to hang out with him again at the hearing. This is going to look great hanging next to my restraining order from Leonard Nimoy.
The episode then goes
Ah,
black, and that is the end of the episode. Now, as we all know, Stanley would not turn up to a hearing like that for a restraining order.
no, his people
It
would.
would be his lawyer that would turn up, and Sheldon would just be as a restraining order, and it would be a timed restraining order. It wouldn't be an
Yeah,
all for the rest of his life
no,
restraining order.
it's not
It
that
would be
serious of a
no,
breach.
it would be like
90
6 months,
days or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. But it wouldn't be that dramatic. But at least he's got a signed thing for a
Restraining order.
restraining
Well, and
order.
that was
So
just the application.
yeah, but he's got to go in. Yeah, but it's like
Yeah,
yeah. But yeah,
that's how it is.
that's the end of the episode. I do like this episode.
I've always liked that
I do think
episode.
it is a fun one. One thing I do want to say just quickly about Stuart. Now, I was watching this thing on Instagram. I didn't get a chance to link it to our Facebook page, but this interviewer was talking about, what some upcoming stuff is going to be in the new series of
Yeah.
Stuart Fails to Save the Universe. Apparently, they've now got special guests that are now turning up,
Yep.
along with now Will Wheaton has definitely been authorized as yes, he is going to be turning
He
up.
signed on.
He signed on for it. There are other special guests. There are the possibility, and they couldn't say it, of returning like special guest stars from the Big Bang Theory. Any show worth a damn cannot be this quick bringing special guests in because the show would go on its own merits.
Yeah.
I believe that the new Stuart Fails to Save the Universe
They're trying to
is
prop it up.
failing
They're trying to
already
prop it up.
because I don't think on its merits it's going to succeed the way that they think it's going to.
I mean, and I've said this before, it's like a ripoff of Sliders from the
It is.
80s.
Yeah. And
And
I
I loved that
really
show.
and I really don't believe that this is going to go past the first season.
Mm-mm.
If it does, it'll go to its second season, maybe halfway through. But you can't keep bringing back all these. You can't keep having all these special guest stars, previous people from The Big Bang Theory, just to keep your
Yeah.
show going. It should be
It
this
needs
is
some
strong
solid
enough.
storylines.
Yeah, it should be strong enough to hold up on its own merits. Now,
I
if
mean, look
you
at how
are
many episodes of The Big Bang Theory were just the core group.
exactly now, if you are really starting to bring in special guest stars at this early stage,
Yeah.
this ship is sinking already.
Yeah. And it hasn't even started yet.
No. And I really have never really fully been able to get on it. And older listeners like us of the podcast would know, and I always bring it back. I always go back to it. Joni Loves Chachi.
Yeah.
They tried to do a spin-off from Happy Days, and that just tanked itself.
Okay. I can only think of one truly successful spinoff.
Yeah.
Or actually, that's not true.
Mm.
There are two that I can think of.
Okay.
One is Frasier,
Yes.
which at the time became one of the longest running shows in history
Yep.
at 11 seasons. And I believe it's still the longest running comedy series.
Hmm.
The other one is honestly the Law and Order franchise.
Yeah. Yeah.
They've had a lot of successful spin-offs, the most successful of which is SVU,
Yeah.
which is my personal favorite.
But I just get really concerned with watching this interview with the cast of Stuart Fails to Save the Universe, and they're already talking about guest stars.
Yeah.
It's like, no, they realize that B grade, not B grade characters. What's the character? What I always say B grade. You say something else. Support characters,
Minor characters, the
minor characters,
supporting characters.
minor characters, supporting characters cannot hold a show other than the ones you've actually mentioned.
Yeah.
But you've got to have
Yeah.
something. You've got to be
But
have
but
something that's drawing them in.
Frasier is really the prime example of a successful spinoff because Frasier was a very minor character on Cheers. He
Mm.
came in as Diane's jilted fiance,
Yeah.
or originally as the fiance and became the jilted fiance when she went away. He became a beloved character on that, but and then had his own very successful spinoff because Frasier was a strong, interesting character.
Yeah.
Now, on the flip side, if they had said, okay, we're going to create a spinoff of Cheers with Norm and the mailman,
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know who you mean.
John Ratzenberger's
Yeah.
character, whose
Yeah.
name for some reason is just escaping me.
Yeah.
If they had decided to start a show based on those two,
Yeah.
forget about it.
Yeah.
Or Carla, the waitress,
Yeah.
forget about it. It wouldn't be interesting enough.
Even
And
even a very, very successful show like MASH couldn't do it.
no, they tried to do After MASH and it lasted half a season.
No, I was thinking more on Trapper John MD.
That was actually a fairly successful show.
Really, I didn't think it was as
Let me
successful
see how long it went.
because I thought Trapper John MD didn't actually do that well.
I
Man,
remember watching that.
I
I
am
really
dating
liked
myself
it.
something fierce.
I really liked that show. I watched that back in the day. It went from 79 to 86.
Oh, well, then
Yeah.
I'm an idiot then.
Yeah.
But there are things that I don't know. I just look at this,
But
them
that being
bringing guest stars now. It's like,
but that being said, Trapper John MD, even though it was inspired by Trapper John McIntyre on MASH, it really wasn't, it didn't connect.
yeah,
it's like, yes, he was in the Korean War, 20 years ago, and they went from there. So he was a completely different person and character at that point.
Yeah. But no, I don't know. I don't hold a lot of hope for that.
No.
But as I said to the family, when it does, make its appearance, I'd really like to know what you guys think. So please reach out to us,
Yeah.
perpetual motion squad 00@gmail.com.
Or drop a comment
Yeah,
in the Facebook group
yeah,
or in the show notes. We'd love to hear
absolutely.
from you.
Yeah. So what have we got as far as our food count this week?
Pizza,
Pizza and that's it.
pizza, pizza,
Okay.
pizza, pizza.
Okay. We've actually had two lots of pizza
Okay.
this
Oh,
week.
yeah. We've had pizza for lunch the last 2 days. We bought them at the grocery store. They were really
They're
good.
really nice.
Yeah, there were those pre-made ones, but they weren't frozen. They were in the fresh food section, the fresh
Hmm.
prepared food section.
Yeah,
And yeah, they were actually quite good. I actually, I tended to, for some reason, kept crispifying mine,
I
um,
enjoyed mine.
but yeah, they were nice. Okay, so our question of the week, and I really want to hear your stories, peeps.
Okay.
Who would be your ultimate celebrity meet and greet? And if you've actually met them, how did it really go?
Hmm. My ultimate one. Man. See, I'm not one of these gaga people that sit there and go, "Oh my God." I mean, there's not really one that I'd actually really stand out.
Okay, my
I don't think so.
probably my number one that I would dearly love to meet would be
Hmm.
Mariska Hargitay
Yeah.
of Law and
Yeah.
Order SVU.
Yeah.
She is such a model of inspiration on so many levels, and I just admire her so very much. I had the opportunity. Okay, there are three quick stories that I'm going to tell. The first one is the worst one. I had the opportunity to meet
Yeah.
David Copperfield, the magician, one time at a magic convention in Las Vegas. And I was hoping to just have a 15-second conversation to say I've been watching him since I was about 11, and I've just always really enjoyed his magic, and I wanted to thank him for years of wonderment and maybe get a picture. And I had a friend standing by with my camera, just in case, and he was in the dealer's room, and he had just finished with someone's demonstration, and he was getting ready to walk away. So as soon as he was like turning to walk away and I could tell that he was finished, I tapped him on the shoulder, and he whipped on me. And he's like, "Why can't you people just leave me the F alone?" And rah, rah, rah. And he started yelling at me, and he made me cry. And I turned to my friend, and my friend's like, "Well, I nothing I can do about it," which was true. But I was absolutely devastated.
What a prick.
And I have never watched any of his specials. I will not pay to go see his shows. I saw him once live, and it honestly, one of the illusions made me cry because it just affected me so much. And and I've always loved his work. But yeah, he was just such a, okay. Now, I will say it may not be fair, but it would have been right. Okay, because David lives in Las Vegas. That's where the convention was. And if he had had his people call the organizers and say, "Look, Mr. Copperfield wants to come to the convention. He wants to hang out with his friends and Magic Geek and be a normal person."
Hmm.
Now we understand that there's going to be a lot of people who want to meet him. So what he's willing to do is to take an hour, sign autographs, take pictures, and then at the end of that hour, ask people to respect his privacy and leave him alone.
Yeah. Do a meet and greet and that's it.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
may not have liked it, but it would have been fair because, quite honestly, it's people like me is the reason why he has millions to die for magic collection and a palatial mansion in Las Vegas.
Exactly. That's what these celebrities forget, fail to
Yeah,
remember.
they forget that if what it wasn't for people like me supporting them, they would not be have anything that they have now.
Yeah. My room is a testament to without the shit that I buy of Kiss, Kiss would just be a garage band.
Yeah. Without Paul and people like him,
Yeah.
they wouldn't have anywhere near what they have, the
No.
multi-millions. So that one aside, we'll forget about David Copperfield. He's not
Yeah.
worth thinking about. Um, I'm dating myself here. But Vincent Price came to the university in my hometown when I was in high school. I managed to get the afternoon off and was able to go to this the speech that he gave at the university and attend the meet and greet afterward. And at the Q&A, I got up and I asked a couple of questions. I went to the Q&A. He recognized me and
Nice.
actually spoke to me for a couple minutes. If I had the opportunity to talk to him now, it wouldn't just be about the Roger Corman films and the Edgar Allan Poe stories. I'd be talking to him about food because he was an amazing chef. I believe he wrote a cookbook or two, and he was just this amazing, well-rounded person. And but he was just grace personified.
Nice. That's what you want to
Okay.
hear.
Um, Oh, actually, there's another one I forgot I have to tell you about real quick. At one of my first magic conventions, I actually had the blessing of meeting Harry Blackstone Jr. Now, back in the 20s and 30s, when Houdini was around, Harry Blackstone was the other one. The two of them were contemporaries and competitors. And Harry Jr. is obviously Harry Blackstone's son. And if there's anyone who has a right to any level of ego in the magic world, it would have been Blackstone because it's the name, it's the legend, it's Blackstone.
Hmm.
And I remember when I met him, I don't often get tongue-tied with celebrities because I've worked in theater long enough that I've met a lot of them and they're just people. But when I met Harry, it was like let's pay homage to the king. And he just laughed. He put his arm around me and he said, "Come on, let's go have coffee." So we went into the restaurant where the convention was, and we sat down and we were just, I don't even honestly remember what we were talking about.
Just chatting.
I probably had about 20 minutes with him, which
Yeah.
was huge at a
Yeah.
convention. But the thing that I take away from that was I remembered a young boy came over. He was probably about 10 or 11, and he had his autograph book, and you could tell he was really, really nervous. And he was like, "Excuse me, Mr. Blackstone, can I have your autograph?" And Harry turned to me and he said, would you mind excusing me for just a moment? And I'm like, absolutely, go right ahead. And he turned to the young boy and he took the book and the pen. But before he signed anything, he's like, "What is your name?" And the kid's like, "David." And he's like, "Oh, David, that's lovely. What kind of magic do you like?" And and he started to tell Mr. Blackstone what kind of magic he did and this and that. And Harry was just listening, just leaning on every word, and just really leaning into this conversation. And he's like, "Well, that's wonderful, and talking about being yourself in magic and everything." And he's like, "How would you like me to sign the autograph?" And he signed it, and he gave it to him. And he says, "David, thank you so much for coming and asking me for my autograph. That was an honor. Thank you." And the kid walked away. Well, he didn't walk
He
as much as
floated.
float away
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
10 feet off the floor
Yeah.
because that entire exchange took less than a minute.
Yeah.
It was probably about 40 seconds. And that kid left feeling like he was the most important person that Harry Blackstone Jr. could talk to in that moment.
And he
And
will
then
remember that forever.
and I'm sure he does. And he turned back to me and he's like, "Thank you for letting me take care of that. Where were we?"
Yeah.
And I just and that always stuck with me that that was the epitome of grace and class and humility. It would just that I mean that happened. That would have been 1993 or 94
Yeah.
that I did that. And I have never forgotten that watching him in that moment because there was just zero ego involved.
Yeah. See, I don't know whether I'd actually, I mean, I don't rush off when I find that somebody's going to be in, because people don't ever come to Adelaide. Um, but I guess the only two
Yes,
that
did.
I'd, yeah, Kiss did. Yeah, I know I'm saying that. But if I had to meet a celebrity and I wanted to meet a celebrity, the only two that I'd probably say that I would actually go out of my way for would be Heather Langenkamp, Nancy in Nightmare on Elm Street, and Robert Englund as Freddy.
Oh, I would love to meet Robert Englund
Yeah.
because honestly, I want to talk to him about V.
Willie.
I
Yeah.
loved him in V.
Yeah.
And uh Charmed. He did
Yes.
one episode of Charmed.
Yeah.
But one of the ones that really made it for me, or actually there's two that really made it for me, and one of them I have a picture of.
Well, I would
Um,
have to have I would have to speak to Heather because I would actually love to say to Heather that she was my very first final girl, and she was.
eh, um, but I got to meet Glenn Campbell.
Yes, you did.
I was doing sound check at a venue. I was working a venue where he performed one of his last concerts before they announced the Alzheimer's diagnosis and he had to
Yeah.
retire. And I was doing sound check, and he came in. And now I have been listening to his music literally since when I was born. My parents have played his music my entire life. And my mother, when she found out that I was going to get to work one of his shows, she was insanely jealous. And so anyway, I'm sitting there at sound check, just off to the side in case anybody needs anything. I wasn't really doing anything. And Glenn arrived, and they weren't ready for him yet. So he saw me and this other guy standing over to the side, and he wandered over and he's like, "Hi, I'm Glenn Campbell," and put out his hand, and I took it, and I'm like, I know." He just started laughing, pulls me in for a bear hug, and spends the next 10 minutes telling me stories about being a studio musician in California in the 70s.
Man, that'd be awesome.
It was amazing. He
That would
was
be
so
amazing.
beautiful. So the other one, I promise this is the last one, but I just love telling these stories.
Yeah, we have to wrap this podcast
Oh,
up
shush
soon.
you. Shush you. Like you never get off track.
Yes, Bill
That is
Pullman.
me standing between Bill Pullman on my left and Michael Haley on my right. Now, Bill Pullman, I'm sure everybody pretty much recognizes, but Michael Haley, if you remember, okay, if you IMDb him, he has an IMDb list longer than your arm. He has been involved in some of the most popular and influential movies of the last 40 years. Okay. But the one that I always remember him for is if you've probably seen League of Their Own with Gina Davis and Madonna and the
Tom
whole,
Hanks.
and Tom Hanks and Lori Petty and
Yeah.
the whole list. And you remember and it's one of the most iconic lines in moviedom now. There's no crying in baseball, from Tom Hanks, right? And you remember the umpire comes over and he says, "These are wives and daughters. We need to treat them with respect."
Yeah.
And he basically turns to the umpire and says, "Does anybody ever tell you you look like a penis in a little hat?" And
And
he
then he
gets
gets
thrown
thrown out
out
of
of
the
the
game.
game.
Yeah.
And the umpire is Michael Haley.
Hmm.
Okay. And Bill Pullman, honestly, is one of the nicest people I ever met. When I finally had a chance to go over and talk to him, I couldn't help it. I said the same thing. I know I'm a big fan of your work. Every time I see one of your movies, I always ask, why can't I meet a guy like this? And he thought that was hilarious, and I got a hug for that. And then we were getting ready to take the picture, and Michael Haley happened to look over and see it and jumped over. He says, "I want in on this," so I got one with both of them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, that was actually in 2008
But
when
apparently, Kat actually spent more time talking to Bill Pullman about his daughter.
if I can finish my sentence.
Sorry.
It was in 2008 when it was at a reception because they had given Bill Pullman an honorary doctorate that year.
Oh, that's right. I remember you saying that.
Yeah. Well, we were all standing in a big circle on the stage of the theater department. Yes, Bill Pullman graduated from the same theater department program that I did.
Hmm.
And Michael Haley actually lives in Amherst, Massachusetts.
Nice.
Yeah, that's why he was there. And and everybody was just kind of looking at each other, trying to avoid staring at Bill. And he's like, "Why am I here? Nobody's talking, right?" And I had heard that his daughter was studying at Hampshire College in the greater Amherst area. There are actually five Ivy League level schools the University of Massachusetts, where I went, Smith College in Northampton, Hampshire College in Holyoke, Mount Holyoke College in Mount Holyoke, and Amherst College in Amherst. And so everybody kind of does stuff at all of the different ones because I think the farthest one is from another is like 20 minutes. So it was called the Five College Consortium. Anyway, Bill's daughter was studying at Hampshire, and nobody's saying anything. So I piped up and I said, Bill, how does your daughter like Hampshire? How's she getting along over there? And he looked up and he got this big grin and he's like, oh my God, she loves it. Thank you for asking. And that broke the ice and everybody started talking and asking questions and yeah, it was
There you
fun.
go.
But yeah, he just laughed when I was like, why can't I ever meet guys like you play?
And then she married one.
And then I found him. Yep. Yep, I did. So I want to hear your stories about either who you would like to meet or who you have met or both. And I just want to hear the stories.
So perpetualmotionsquad00@gmail.com. You can also message us on YouTube. You can put in the Facebook page. You can do whatever you need to
On
do.
the show notes, on
And
any
if you really
yep.
love us, we're a little bit thirsty. We need a coffee.
We haven't had a coffee in a while. Yeah.
We're not asking you guys to pay for this podcast. You never will.
No, but if you want
But
to
if you'd
show us a
love,
little love because you
yeah.
love what we do and you like having us around, there is a PayPal me link everywhere, or you can email us
Hmm.
and we'll send you the link. And we are grateful for any and all coffees, anything from $1 to 1,000. We're
Yeah.
grateful for
It's not
everything.
you. You're not making a donation to us. You're just sending us out for a coffee going, you know what, Paul? You know what, Kat? Go for a coffee on us.
We really enjoyed this episode. We'd love for you to have a coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now, I know some of you have actually looked on YouTube, and I don't know why it did this. I'm going to double check when I do the episode. It said 4K on the episode last week. Now, I
yeah,
don't know whether this is something that's putting people off because we've only had 3 views of that.
that's
You can
weird.
watch it on a regular TV screen. 4K, I think what YouTube have done is they're now doing their stuff in 4K. They want it in higher resolution. But it doesn't mean you can't watch it on YouTube. You can watch it on a regular
Yeah,
TV, regular tablet,
doesn't
iPhone,
affect
whatever. It
anything.
doesn't affect anything. We've tried it and it doesn't
Nope.
affect anything. So if you are going through and you see 4K and go, oh, I don't have a 4K TV, doesn't matter. You can
Yeah.
still watch us. But I'm going to double check on that when I do the episode, when I
Yeah,
do the
there should
editing.
be some settings so you can say if you want them to do
Yeah,
that or not,
yeah.
or keep it in
Um,
regular.
I don't know. I mean, if YouTube are just doing this on 4K now, there's nothing I can do with it. But I'm going to look at it when I start the editing in about 20 minutes and see what
Yeah.
happens. So
Okay.
I am
So
watching that.
that being said, we are so grateful that you love to join us and listen and or watch.
Absolutely.
If you haven't done already, please like and subscribe because we know there are lots of you that are consuming the content but haven't subscribed yet.
And New Jersey, you are still number one on the listening
Ah,
list. On
Jersey.
Jersey is still the
Woo,
top of
woo,
the
woo, woo.
Americas. Yep, in America, New Jersey is the top listener of the
Oh,
podcast. So
awesome. What's
you're
the top country?
still number one. Oh God, I knew you were going to ask that. Keep talking. I'll just
Seriously? Okay.
oh touch me.
Beg your pardon. Don't be
Don't touch
inappropriate.
me, baby. Can't you see?
Touch me.
Oh, I was
Uh,
doing the doors. I wasn't doing that one.
I hear
That was Little Nell.
Rocky. Yeah, that was
Yes.
Rocky Horror.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we
Analytics.
are incredibly grateful that you are part of the PMS family. We'd love for you to like and subscribe. We'd love for you to tell people about the podcast because the more, regardless of what Sheldon says, in this case, the more the merrier.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd love to have you with us. And yeah,
Okay, so the top 5 countries: United States number one, Germany number two, Slovenia number three, India number four, and Saudi Arabia number five. Oh, United Kingdom, you've dropped under Saudi Arabia.
okay.
And in the top position, as I said, in the United States. Oh no,
Jersey.
no.
What?
New Jersey was yesterday.
Oh,
New York has now taken it by 1.1.
oh,
We've got 20.1% of listeners in New York, 19% of New Jersey.
those are my SVU fans.
And
Nice for you peeps.
then it goes Texas, Massachusetts, and California.
Okay.
Oh, New Jersey, you got to come back. Come on, New Jersey. You got to start listening
Okay.
again.
So we are grateful that you are here. We
Yes,
hope
we
you'll
are.
like and subscribe wherever you listen or watch this podcast.
Please like us. Please subscribe to us.
And we will see you next time for
Ah,
what?
what about the crazy credits?
Oh, geez. We kind of got off track, didn't we?
It was your stories that got us off track.
Well, they were good stories.
They were good stories. I liked them.
Chuck Lorre Productions number 279. I worked for Stan Lee 25 years ago at Marvel Animation in Los Angeles. My favorite memory is sitting in his office with the legendary Johnny Carson writer Bob Smith. We were discussing an animated series featuring Rodney Dangerfield as a dog that got no respect. Bob was the actual brains behind the project. I was just hanging around hoping to be included. Anyway, the meeting was going along nicely. The idea of creating an unloved mutt modeled on Rodney seemed both poignant and hilarious. Then Stan rose from the throne like seat behind his desk and said, "What this project needs is a real comedy writer." I looked over at Bob, one of the whitest guys you've ever seen, and watched him get even whiter. I glanced down and saw his fists curl into bloodless mallets. A cold, eerie silence filled the room. It felt as if time had stopped. I remember thinking, I'm about to see a legendary Johnny Carson writer kill the guy who invented Spider Man. And then the oddest thing happened. Bob smiled and said, "Yeah, Stan, that's what it needs, a real comedy writer." Stan was happy to be agreed with. The clock started ticking again. The atmosphere returned to normal. Bob and I left the office. Stan never had a clue. When I told him this story on the set of The Big Bang Theory, he jokingly said, "So? You're still not a real comedy writer." We both laughed. It was funny, but I'm going to sick Bob Smith on his wrinkled old ass. Okay.
Nice.
Now we will
Now,
see you next week for season 3, episode 17, The Precious Fragmentation. I
yeah, we know
love
that
this
one.
episode.
This is Cat's episode coming up next
Yeah,
week.
I love. I mean, this is a run of really great episodes.
They are.
Yeah, they really, really are.
Okay.
So we will see you next time for that. And in the meantime, we will catch up with you at the Cheesecake Factory.
Bye, everyone.